Welcome to Becoming Limitless. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to optimize their brain and their body with biohacking. I'm going to teach you how to eliminate brain fog and upgrade your health so you can have more productivity, energy, and growth in your business. I'm your host, Tanessa Shears. Let's jump in. Welcome back to the Becoming Limitless podcast. I have a really cool podcast series for you. This is going to be the first of a 4-part series, and I'm thinking of titling them like the Breakthrough series, because the purpose of this episode is to help you break out of the stage you are currently in with your health. Now, what do I mean by stages? Well, as you go through your health journey, you are going to find your energy, your momentum, your commitment, your discipline. It's going to ebb and flow, and new problems are going to arise as you come up with new solutions, right? Like, when maybe you've just found my podcast and you're binging through the episodes right now and you're so excited and you're like, this is it. This is what I need. I'm going to figure this out. There's a lot of information, right? You might be in that stage, like right before you're starting or just after you're starting, like right in the very beginning of your journey, right? There's a momentum and an energy and everything like that. But naturally, it's going to come with its own problems and it's going to come with its own roadblocks, right? And it's also going to have unique solutions. But then after you get started, there's a whole different set of obstacles that come up when you are just starting. And then right before you reach your goal, and then right after you reach your goal. So in this mini series, every episode, I'm going to be focusing on a different stage of where you might be in your health journey and on the path to accomplishing more energy, more focus, less stress. You want to feel better in your body, and you just want to know that you have a plan that is specific and it works for you. So I'm going to kind of break this up into a framework. We're going to talk about the stage that you're in. Then we're going to talk about the obstacles that present right when you enter that phase so you know what to look for. So kind of think of this as like, I have been through this stage, and this is me looking back over my shoulder and being like, hey, don't fall in that pothole over there, or watch that crack in the sidewalk. Like I'm looking back and showing you what is coming so you don't fall into those same holes, right? Then I'm going to be telling you the problem with those obstacles and how you can know if you are actually in this stage right now. Then I'm going to be giving you a simple set of actions that you can take and that'll let you succeed in this stage. That'll let you move through this phase of the journey. So if you are in the very beginning stage of your journey, I'm going to be telling you the skills that you are going to need to master in order to move to the second stage, which is just after starting. And then how to move to just before attaining your goal. And then how to move to what to do just after you achieve your goal, right? And the purpose of this is so that you keep moving forward. Like there's nothing worse than feeling stagnant, right? Or moving backwards, even worse. So this 4-part series, like I said, every single episode is going to cover a different stage. And I want you to be able, when listening to this, to really identify with that stage and know exactly why you are stuck in this stage. Now, when I have taught this as a live workshop to my clients, many of them felt very seen, very called out, and also many of them felt that they were in different stages with different skills. Like they felt they were at the very beginning with their food, but maybe just after they were starting with their sleep. So I would recommend listening to this episode, listening to the following episodes, and find where you are, and then note and write down the solutions that I present and go to work on those skills. All right. So these are going to be short episodes that are going to be jam-packed with helping you move through the stages on your journey to becoming limitless. So stage number 1 is the very beginning of your journey. Maybe you have just decided enough is enough. I hate feeling this way all the time. I am drained. I don't have meaningful time with my kids because I'm so exhausted all the time. And that's it. I'm going to start taking care of my sleep, or I'm going to start exercising, or I'm going to start whatever it is. You're at the very beginning. You are going to encounter 3 very large roadblocks right off the bat. And number 1 is overwhelm. You might have listened to 30 episodes of my podcast before you've gotten to this one, or followed me on Instagram at Tanessa Shears and seen posts with all of these great ideas of things to try. And your brain is going, oh my gosh, there is so much information online. Where do I even start? There's so much health advice. This person says focus on my blood sugar. This person says focus on my sleep. This person says do keto. This person says do this. I don't even know where to start. And that feeling of having to figure out where you start can feel really daunting, right? So overwhelm is something that you're going to experience right when you start out. The second, you're going to feel really short on time between running your business and your personal life, whether that means you're a parent, whether that means you're a partner, whether that means you're a caretaker for someone. Whatever it is you have going on in your life, you're going to feel short on time and be asking I'm looking at my schedule right now. Where do I find time for wellness? I can't see any time. You want me to sleep an extra hour? Where does that go? That's all my me time. Our brains just really feel that we are juggling all of these demands, these business demands, these life demands, and trying to carve out time for wellness. And it feels like impossible, right? If you are thinking that right now, you are right on par for this stage of the journey. And remember, you don't have to experience all of these things to be at this stage, but these are very normal things to experience. So don't beat yourself up for it, okay? All right, the third thing that you might be experiencing is skepticism. So maybe you're saying, can I really get better health and have sustainable energy? Can I really do that and grow my business at the same time? I don't understand. I've tried. I've not been able to keep up with a consistent workout routine. I haven't been able to go more than a couple of weeks without good sleep before, going back to overworking. I don't know if I can do it. So the 3 roadblocks I want you to look for are overwhelm, feeling like you don't have enough time, and skeptical about if you can do this. You're doubting if the return on investment, like the time that you spend putting into your health, is a good use of time to dedicate to your health. Is this where I should be dedicating my time and my resources, right? Totally normal, okay? But the problem with these 3 roadblocks is they can deter you from starting. You're just I don't know what to do. Even if I did, I don't know where to put it. And if I put it somewhere, I'm probably just going to fail again because I've always failed. I'm never consistent with anything. I've never been a good sleeper. We have all of these beliefs that we say all the time, all right? And it can deter you from starting. And this means you might miss out on all of the amazing benefits that are waiting for you on the other side of being healthy, of achieving optimal wellness. That feeling of waking up and having the energy you need, of not having a crash in the middle of the day, of being present, of having lower stress and knowing that when things happen, you can cope and you can handle it without feeling like you're drowning. All of these things that you might miss out on, right? So these are signs that this is the stage that you're in. This is how this is going to manifest. If you are just at the very beginning of your journey, you are skipping meals. You're just I just don't have time to eat. I have to work. I'm just going to get through work. It's okay. I'm not hungry anyways. You skip meals or you grab quick unhealthy choices. You're just I don't have time to figure out this meal planning thing. I'm just going to grab takeout, order DoorDash, or whatever it is, Uber Eats on the way home. And your food is just not going to be on point. This is how you can tell. Number 2, you constantly feel fatigued. You had a full night of sleep and you're feeling tired already. The morning is dragging. Your afternoon, you have a crash. All you have the energy for is to collapse onto the couch in the evening. If you are constantly feeling fatigued, this is normal at the start of your journey, right? Maybe you're neglecting physical activity. So you're I get 2,000 steps a day at most. I don't exercise, or I don't exercise as much as I'd want to. I would love to go and walk more, but I'm not doing any of that. I'm all sore, my neck hurts, my back hurts, but you're not making the time to roll or stretch or do the things that would help you feel better in your physical body. Another sign that you're in this stage is lack of concentration when you're working. So you sit down at your desk and you hear a noise in the house and all of a sudden your concentration is gone, or somebody comes into your room and disrupts you into your office maybe, or you'll get an email that'll pop in and you'll go to check it, and then 45 minutes later you've kind of answered 2 emails, back on Instagram, checked Amazon, checked Slack, downloaded a podcast episode for later. You know what I mean? You have a hard time staying focused. And the last one is, if you're in this stage, you have sporadic sleep patterns. So maybe you've mastered a couple of nights of decent sleep. You'll get 2 or 3 nights and they'll be 8-9 hours of sleep and you'll feel like king or queen of the world. And then all of a sudden you're back to sleeping 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, and you create this sleep debt. And so you oversleep on the weekend and you're always feeling exhausted. Your circadian rhythm is completely out of whack. And there's no consistency for your brain to rejuvenate itself, and your sleep is all over the place. And this is a hallmark sign that you are still at the beginning of your journey. Okay. How to succeed in this stage. If this sounds like you're overwhelmed, not enough time, don't know if it's going to work, everything feels inconsistent with your health. I'm going to give you 5 very specific things I want you to work on, okay? Number 1, focused learning. You are going to start with a trusted source of information. If that is me, I am honored to be on your journey. And I want you to focus on your learning. So what I do not want you to do is follow 3 Instagram influencers, 9 podcasters, 4 YouTubers, and try to bring all of their different views and opinions and strategies and protocols, mash them together, all while feeling overwhelmed, and just kind of throw the noodles at the wall and hope they stick and hope they actually work for you. I want you to focus in on learning from one person. It does not have to be me, although I would be honored if I was able to guide you along on this journey. My podcast, Becoming Limitless, you're listening to it now, has more resources than you could ever need. It is everything you need on this podcast to have the energy of your dreams. It really is. So I want you to start with a trusted source of information. I will say though, a podcast that I really trust, if you wanted to pair my podcast with something else, would be the Huberman Lab podcast with Andrew Huberman. But that is if you can tolerate 3-hour heavy science podcast. But his stuff is top notch as well. But so stage 1, focus in on learning. Now, like I said, my podcast has everything you need. If you want sleep, there's sleep. If you want food, there's food. If you want exercise, there's exercise. If you don't know where to start or what episodes are the best to go with, go onto my Instagram right now at Tanessa Shares, or you can email me. And I want you to say, I'm struggling with this. Can you give me 2 or 3 podcast recommendations? And I promise you, I will give you 2 or 3 podcast recommendations. And I want you to be able to use that as a resource. Okay, so that's number 1. 2, if you are the type of person that needs help with implementation, when you send me that DM, also say, hey, tell me about your program. I know that you have that program called Becoming Limitless. It is all about me helping you find out exactly what health habits work for you and personalize it to you so that you get out of overwhelm, so that you know exactly what to do. And I teach you how to fit it in. So if you need help with if you need help with the implementation, reach out. I'm happy to help. So focused learning is number 1. This will help reduce the overwhelm that you are in from all the information you are consuming. Okay. Number 2, build routines. You need to slot dedicated time for your health into your schedule. You cannot just say, I want to exercise 4 times this week, and then all of a sudden it's Friday and you're like, well, I guess that leaves me 3 days to get my 4 days of exercise done. I'm just going to start again next week. And you get into this pattern. If it is not on your calendar, don't expect it to get done. Your calendar is a reflection of your priorities and how you prioritize your time. So if I can see on your calendar, you have a block of priority time put aside for working out, I guarantee you there is a much higher likelihood that you achieve it. So you need to decide, when am I being active? When am I doing my meal planning? When am I going to bed? When am I getting my me time if I'm going to bed earlier? You need to start massaging your schedule because that will reveal your priorities. And if you are like, I don't even know where my time is going, I have an episode that I highly recommend you look at, and it is it's called How to Stop Losing Time, episode number 12. And it is my process for doing a time tracking experiment, because if you are seeing that you are wasting time on something that does not fulfill you and you do not enjoy, that is a great opportunity to slot in some of these habits. So making time. And also the third one, you need to work on your mindset and having this specific shift. You need to understand that health is an investment, not an expense. When I hear people talk about health, it's so interesting. I have to spend time working out. I have to make time to go grocery shopping. I have to, like, it's this thing that we have to do and it's thrust upon us. It's like, I really want you guys to understand that any energy you put into your health makes your life better. If you have time to scroll on Instagram, if you have time to watch TV, you have time for your health. This is not a cliched thing. I want you to really recognize that your health is an investment in your future. Like for me, I want to be around for my kids. I want to see my grandkids. Heck, I want to see my great grandkids. So by doing this today, I am creating my life I want 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, maybe even 70 years from now if I'm lucky. And I really need this mindset shift of like, this is for me and I choose it. It is not something that is thrust upon me. I am not forced to do this. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story that helped me frame this whole health thing as something that it is for me and that I get to do. So my sister, she is an amazing human and she is also an Ironman. And if you don't know what an Ironman is, it is an athletic event like I've never seen before. It is a 2.4 mile swim, so that's about 4 kilometers, followed by a 112 mile bike. That's 180 kilometers, okay? Followed by a marathon, 26 mile run, 42 kilometer run. Like it is intense, the distances for this. And I never really, like she trained 2 training blocks a day for a solid year leading up to that. And I remember on training day, we got up in the morning. Like these events are so long. I was able to have breakfast, lunch, a 2-hour nap, dinner, and she was still doing cardio. Like these events take hours and hours, right? And her motto going through training was, one day I might not be able to do this, but today is not that day. And it was on her bib, for her race bib. It was her motto, her slogan. We wrote it on the posters when we cheered for her. One day I might not be able to do this, but today is not that day. And we didn't realize how impactful that would be as a statement because almost a year later, she was in a car accident that has left her unable to run without pain. And we are 8 years later, and just now she is starting to play with the idea of running again. And running was something that was her identity and something she loved. And so to have that be something that I was able to witness was so powerful of a reminder to me that you are not promised tomorrow. You are not promised that you will be able to move pain-free in a week from now, in a year from now, in 10 years from now. You are not promised your day. You are not promised your health. You are not promised your life. You get to exercise. You get to eat well. It is not something that is forced upon you. It is something you get to choose. And if you woke up tomorrow unable to choose that, would you regret not spending more of your time using the ability that we so take for granted, that is movement or pain-free movement or just the ability to stand, right? And so I want to encourage you to adapt this mindset, to not take it for granted. The 4th way to succeed in this stage is setting clear and achievable goals. Getting fit is not a goal. Getting better sleep is not a goal. Eating healthier is not a goal. Less stress, not a goal. Goals have action items tied to them. I will go to bed 4 nights a week at 10 p.m. That is a very clear, achievable goal because at the end of the week, I can say to you, hey, did you do your goal? And you are able to say yes or no. But if I ask you, hey, did you get fit this week? You're like, I don't know, right? Like it needs to be clear. I'm going to eat no sugar, no flour, 2 meals a day, all week long. I am going to go on a 10-minute walk 5 days this week. Do you see what I'm saying? I am going to do this thing and then qualifier this many times per week. for this long so that you can easily see, yes, I'm achieving it or not, because you can't evaluate if you're doing well or not if you can't actually see what the milestone is, all right? And the third and final thing, you need to start small. If you are the type of person that deals with perfectionism, that deals with overwhelm, that has stop and start, that has beliefs that nothing works for you, I've never been able to do it, I'm not going to be able to figure it out, you need to start small, all right? So I want you to think of like, what if you just did a 10-minute walk instead of 5 60-minute workouts per week as your goal, and you built up to that? That is an option that is there for you, but I highly recommend that instead of setting this perfect plan and then feeling disappointed when it doesn't fit with your lifestyle. The other benefit of starting small is it helps with this short on time thing. We can't fathom doing 5 60-minute workouts per week when our schedule feels so tight, but you know what we can figure out? 3 10-minute walks. I bet you could figure that out. And when you figure that out, it gets really easy to figure out 3 20-minute walks or 2 20-minute walks and a 30-minute workout. Do you see? It's that progressive nature. So starting small allows you to do that. So if you have resonated with what you are hearing right now, you might just be in the very beginning of your journey. And everything that I have said, if you are experiencing it, is normal. But now you know exactly what skills to work on to break out of this stage and into the next stage, which you are going to hear in the next episode, all about the roadblocks and the things that come up after you just start. I'll see you in that episode. Hey, if you're hearing me right now, you might be an entrepreneur who feels like this.
Every single thing I had was going into my businesses and there was no room left for me. And that means I wasn't eating right. My stress levels were just off the charts.
And I was getting these headaches and I just felt like my health was not where it could be, where it should be.
Every day I woke up really tired, and actually all day long I was tired and I couldn't understand why, and this was really in the way of my productivity.
I gained 20 pounds in 1 year, and that's mostly because of work stress. I've never seemed to have the control over my own health.
This podcast will help you with all of that. I'm sharing everything I know and everything I'm learning about how to get healthy, optimize your focus, and eliminate brain fog for faster business growth. But if you want someone to take all of these strategies, create a simple plan, and help you bring it to life with weekly coaching, I'd love to work with you in my Becoming Limitless program. This is the high-touch, intensive program that I have created to coach entrepreneurs like you to get back on track with their health, get really good sleep, and start waking up feeling well-rested.
The biggest impact was really around overall well-being and sleep. So I started tracking my sleep, and it was very data-driven what we did. And I saw measurable progress and improvement week to week, month to month. Now I prioritize sleep. I have my whole family on a better sleep schedule.
You'll get my expert eyes on what you eat and help you develop a simple plan that sticks.
Well, she helped me really figure out what works for me nutrition-wise. It's not just like some cookie cutter plan. It's let's figure out what works best for your body and just optimize everything so I can show up at my best for my family, for my business, and just feel good.
And of course, have you showing up to your business with clear, focused thinking so you can scale your business faster.
Both my companies have grown over the last 2 years.
I'm waking up more energized and I'm able to be more productive in my business.
You're going to learn how to optimize your brain and your body using a combination of a wearable technology, accountability, science-based biohacks, and weekly personalized coaching. I'm not only going to share what to do, but I'm going to teach you how to be consistent and develop the self-discipline that keeps this going for the rest of your life.
Coaching is where the magic really happens, because without coaching, you'll end up right where you started, because those blocks and those underlying patterns that got you here are still there. You have to really rewire the way you think, and that's what Tanessa helps you do. And it's good to have somebody who's got your back, who will hold you accountable and who will help you work through this process together.
I help you become a human being instead of just a human doing. You get to have your health and a successful business too. It doesn't have to be a choice.
So she really taught me a lot about how to balance being an entrepreneur and a business owner and also not sacrifice my health.
Yep, you can use the gold mine of information in these free episodes of the Becoming Limitless podcast to help you take control of your health, and you will feel more vibrant. But if you want, you can outsource your health to me and put your brain power back on growing your business. If you're ready to commit to upgrading your health and start feeling more energized within the next couple of months, click the link in the show notes and book in a consultation call with me.
My life today is not even recognizable with the life I had a year ago. And that's because of everything that Tanessa has put into the program. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Your future self will thank you for it.
Highly suggest working with Tanessa.
I would highly suggest doing a consultation call with her, doing her program, seeing what she's about, and seeing if she's a good fit for you, because she is definitely committed to her clients and she definitely knows what she's talking about.
So go work with Tanessa. She's really amazing and she's going to help you get your energy back.
Hit the link in the show notes and book in to talk with me about your health, and I'll see you on our first call.